Thank you very much for all, for participants, for colleagues. Though I try to present my experience about international collaboration to solve local animal welfare issues in Tunisia, North Africa, and in Africa continent. As said by Carolina, my school is National School of Veterinary Medicine, the only school of veterinary medicine in Tunisia, at Tunis. And Tunisia is a part of North Africa with Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, Libya, and Mauritania, which constitutes a strategic geographic link between African region and the northern side of Mediterranean Sea. So Tunisia is in front of Europe with some country like Malta, Italy, France, and Spain, for example, and is a part of this region named Maghreb Arab. And Egypt is not in this entity, geographical entity. So there is no North Africa and the Maghreb Arab with Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, and Libya. Why I say that? Like Latin America, we are a multicultural, much difference in language, at socio-economic level, religion, and capacity of development program is very challenging there. Here in North Africa, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Morocco, and Mauritania. West Africa region, especially French, we say French speaking also Africa region, because North Africa and West Africa speak essentially French. English speaking Africa in the East, and in Southern Africa. And we see here, for example, the region of SADC, of development of South Africa. So we have 53 countries with all this multicultural characteristic in the continent. The main achievement in Tunisia and Africa, I start by at local level. In 97, we found an international courses on animal experimentation and ethics between National Vet School and the International Council for Laboratory Animal Science, dedicated for French-speaking Africa. And with this experience and the success of this course, we create, after 10 years, the Tunisian Association for Laboratory Animal Science to support activity in ethics and animal welfare and lab animal science in general, always with the contribution of my colleagues. It's not a personal effort. And in 2017, we redact the Tunisian chart on ethics on animal experimentation, and we start the implementation of Animal Ethics Committee, ICOC, and the link between the French and the English-speaking Africa. The Africa guidelines was written also in 2019, and we start the activity of panel and ethics with colleague from South Africa, with who is present here today. So since 1997, as a physiologist, I have often manipulated laboratory animals in the context of teaching and research. Therefore, I have a precise idea about the balance between animal use benefits, scientific results, and validity. We speak about 3 V's yesterday, and the risk adverse effect on animals, and essentially the respect of 3 years and the animal welfare are benefit analysis. So there is the international course in animal experiments have been organized, as said, at National Vet School, dedicated to scientists and the professionals from French-speaking Africa. But we will see there is a region French-speaking Africa, English, 8 countries Arabic speaking language, Spanish, Portuguese, but there is two special language, French and English. And with support, with support of multiple associations like Souilem France, ICLAS Belgium, ICLAS from Canada, and I went to here migrating for Dr. Gilles Demers, last president of ICLAS, some institutions like the Ministry of Agriculture in Tunisia, Pasteur Institute, in INSERM France, also INRA, and National School of Nantes, Toulouse, Charles River, and much institution had helped our to implement this international courses with a duration for 2 weeks. It's a hard courses for participants. And more than 10 courses have been organized and mobilized scientists from 18 countries. Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Libya, Mauritania, Chad, Niger, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Congo also, Côte d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Cameroon, Îles Comores, Zimbabwe, Togo, Gabon. Also, there is some country, not African country, but participant come to Tunis, like from Yemen. Seychelles is an African country also. And Tunisia has served for ICLAS at this moment as a platform for researcher trainings in French-speaking Africa. And we have a local team after to do this training and some expertise. And here we see some participants from Africa, like my colleague from Mauritania and from Algeria. Algeria is near Tunisia, so there is much participation also. Now there is an international course also at University of Alger with my colleague there. In 2007, we have created the Tunisian Association for Laboratory Animal Science. And to support these activities and to defend ethics, animal welfare in Tunisia and in Tunisia especially, and after in the sub-region. As said by Dr. Katrina, we have participated to reduction of the chapter 7-8 about use of animal research and education with OIE, World Health Animal Organization. Why I speak about that? Because there is a special chapter dedicated for the 3 R's, and OIE play a great role and power in countries where there is no specific legislation, as said by FACOIA in some region in Africa, also in Latin America. So OIE, we can use norms OIE to implement 3 R's in our region. Here the group, you see Katrina, Gilles Demers, David Bayvel from New Zealand, a colleague from Japan, Judy McCarthy from Great Britain, Catherine Bain from USA, a colleague from Australia, and my colleague Christophe Joubert, who is actually the president of National Animal Ethics Committee in France, and some colleagues from OIE. And we have some publication together about harmonizing veterinary training and qualification laboratory animal medicine in ELAR journal. And this a good experience for developing country like Africa country, and the use of this norm is very interesting in our country to advance laboratory animal science. Just here I give an example also about a workshop on alternatives method in 2014 at University in Tunis, and we have a collaboration with CAT Europe, with Center of Alternative Animal Testing in Europe, and courses, and we have seen what we can do about a valid method that scientists can use in Tunisia and in North Africa. After that, there is the chart, national chart of animal experimentation. and the need to have a Tunisian chart with 7 articles, and I select the article 3, where a researcher shall adhere to internationally recognized standards for animal testing, in particular the 3 years principle of replacement, reduction, and refinement of Russell and Burge. And we had some seminar at national level and regional level. The Article 7 is about the implementation of Animal Ethic Committee and the adherence of the experimental practice with the Tunisian chart. And here there is a national congress or meeting to validate this chart with dean and scientists that cover all university in Tunis with the Ministry of Higher Education and Research at this period. After that, we have a dynamic to implement Animal Ethic Committee, but always with an approach of bottom-up, not like in Europe or in the States. There is an approach perhaps top and down. We have not legislation, regulation, and there is some initiatives or some dynamic that come from scientists and researcher, veterinarian, and to do this job and to coordinate this activity. So we need a special input from our at high level, and not only a bottom-up approach. This Animal Ethic Committee, the first Animal Ethic Committee dedicated for animals, but we have a committee dedicated for human and also animal since 1994 at Institut Pasteur of Tunis, and have a consultative activity on animal ethic, is very active also. And we have now some animal ethic committee implemented at Monastir, la faculté des sciences, at Sfax, faculté médecine de Sfax and not Tunis, at Bizerte, and at ENMV, with play a great role at local, but also at national level. You see that women is very represented there, and multi-institutional, and also with different discipline and veterinary. The guidelines, Africa guidelines, the guidelines were developed in a collaborative process, also including 32 delegates from 12 African countries, and were signed on 8 March 2018 at Tunisia. In Tunisia, and a workshop is a working group on ethical evaluation of animal experimental in Africa is organized at this week, and is published on some journal, like in a scientific journal in South Africa. So you have the guidelines here, the scope. And we invited the delegates from much country to participate in and share experience in Africa. There is a lack of legislation, but we see that, example, a country like South Africa and Uganda have specific legislation. Other countries have no specific legislation. So it's different from region to region and from country to country. And Animal Ethic Committee and DATSAL had given an intervention. How can guidelines for the establishment functioning on animal ethic in Africa can be useful for Tunisia and the ICLAS Day ethics. We have done also online courses, especially in COVID crisis. With the twinning project at OAI with ISAM Teramo, Italy. This is a program, as you know, co-funded by the Erasmus and the European Union. about the recognition of pain, suffering, and distress, and its application and the evaluation of the severity of the procedures, and more than 100 scientists and vet have done this online course training. Also workshop classification of reporting and reporting of severity, basic model in rodent between FELASA, this working group, and National Vet School also is done. A collaboration with University de Leeds since 2017, especially in 2020, we have some find to educate the research, animal science, and ethics professional education course in 6 African countries. The principal investigators from United Kingdom is Dr. David Levis. This country are Tunisia, South Africa, Kenya, Botswana, Nigeria, and Uganda. And South Africa is a very active field in this activity. And the 7th country is Ethiopia to develop an association on animal science and animal welfare in Ethiopia. And also FACOIA have a good contact in the region of Nigeria, Ghana, but also in Ethiopia and other countries in Africa. Here, an Africa event, the ethics of animal experimentation ethical review process in Africa from 8 to 10 March 22 in Tunisia with University de Leeds. And the establishment of Pan-African Network of Laboratory Animal Science and Ethics, which is in place, may be actually the most efficient way to reach different regions in the country, on the continent, and to link between the sub-region, between the East, the South, and the North. So there is a true partnership, course co-designed, co-created, co-delivered with colleagues in the host country. Over the 5 courses provided, professional education for more than 1,000 participants from 15 Africa countries. Also, we finished by some international collaboration to give a demonstration that we are open to all collaboration in the world with the States, with Europe, with Latin America, with Asia. And I had participated with Corey Brighton, that you know very well, in States about improving research reporting and scientific communication in last FELASA Congress at Marseille. And I invite I had given an invitation to Cynthia Picot, Corey Brighton to give this workshop and to do that in the Tunisian and the African context. So ICLAS project in 2023, we have 5 projects and more. For Tunisia, we continue the training, the workshop seminars, ICLAS the ethic activity, Pan-African Laboratory Animal Science Ethics also will continue with the collaboration of FELASA, Oniris Nantes, University of Leeds, and all ICLAS regional colleagues like Montip, like Ekaterina, like colleague from India, from USA. So ICLAS is an umbrella organization, and it's a privilege to be in ICLAS board and to do this synergy worldwide. Algeria also is very active, and they organize there an international course of animal experimentation and Africa event. For Southern African region, more than 8 regions with support of University of Leeds and ICLAS. Also in Egypt, there is a great activity with Yakuk in Cairo, Alexandria, and with an association at Al-Azhar. And I have a personnel program to visit Libya, Mauritania, to assist our colleague there to implement Yakuk at University of Tripoli and at Nouakchott at Faculty of Science with people who are trained before in Tunisia and are a good colleague, and we work together in North Africa. So it is important that multi-institutional, multi-country, multidisciplinary collaboration continue with NGO, with local association, institution, professional, and this to develop common ethical goal and outputs in Africa country, and absolutely to ensure advances in the application of 3 Rs and animal welfare issues. More synergy, we need more synergy and more solidarity worldwide to improve laboratory animal science and welfare in and the 3 Rs in the old continent, and with always a local socio-cultural anchoring to have a sustainable activity and adaptation in our condition and on local condition. Thank you very much.